Good morning, Abuja. Welcome to the weekend show. This is the sports segment. My name is Odiri, Akpan. I always love to start the show with an inspirational quote, but some people just inspire you without your quotes. Kenneth Okonkwo right here in the studio. Lots of us have been watching him since we were kids and all that, but great person to come in and talk to us today about entertainment, the entertainment industry. But let's go straight into the inspirational quote. Today we have something from Swedish star, former Juventus player, former Barcelona player, and also former Manchester United star. His name is Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and today he's talking to us about criticism. He says, when people criticize him, instead of putting his head down, it gives him the energy to do even more. So that's the inspiration for you there. Yeah, so we get criticisms every day in our lives. Instead of putting your head down, just try and do more, correct what you're supposed to correct, and get better at exactly what you're doing, or do more for yourself at the end of the day. That's just the inspirational quote for today. Let's go to the sports stories now. This week, Russia was banned, yes, by the World Anti-Doping Agency for 4 years from all major sporting events. Now, this means the Russian flag and national anthem will not be allowed in major sporting events like the Tokyo 2020 Olympics and Paralympic Games and the FIFA 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Now, the athletes who can prove, that's Russian athletes who can prove that they are untainted by the doping scandal, will be allowed to participate in this tournament, but under a neutral flag. Now, Russian President Vladimir Putin came out to say that they have rights to actually appeal that decision from the World Anti-Doping Agency. Now, the doping scandal has been on for years now, since after the 2016, the Rio 2016 Olympic Games, and all that it's been on. It was a state-sponsored doping, the Steve McLaren report, and on and on and on about doping and all that when it comes to Russian sports. Now, let's walk away from there and go straight into some footballing story, because Napoli this week, that's on Tuesday 9th, yes, they sacked manager Carlo Ancelotti just some hours after he led them into the knockout stages of the Champions League. Now, they beat Genk 4-0 on that night, but that wasn't enough to save his job, because Ancelotti was sacked with the club, that's Napoli, in the Serie A, currently sitting 7th on the table and 8 points off a Champions League spot. Now, he was sacked. Of course, don't forget that some weeks ago, last month, Napoli players and the manager Carlo Ancelotti were in a high-profile issue, problems with the owner of the club, that's Aurelio De Laurentiis, and maybe that might have attributed to his sacking, plus the loss. Now, the club had been on they've not won in the last 9 games, that's Napoli, and henceforth they were in 7th position as at the time Ancelotti was sacked. The next day, which was a Wednesday morning, the club announced the new manager Gennaro Gattuso, and he was, of course, unveiled as the new manager of the club. Now, Gattuso was announced after that, but after he came out to say that right now their focus is strictly to get back the points they've lost and get back into the Champions League sports. Like I told you earlier on, they're currently 8 points off the Champions League sport, so they have a lot of ground to cover when it comes to that. But let's go straight into the fixtures. More games coming up today in the English Premier League, and of course big leagues across Europe. Also in Nigeria, there will be matches played, and we'll take you through another set of goals of the week next week. But right now, let's focus on the English Premier League. Liverpool taking on Watford at 12:30. That is the early kicker for today. Now, Liverpool are in a great mood. They are in good form, but the mood is currently better or heightened after the manager signed the contract extension till 2024. So Jurgen Klopp signed the contract extension yesterday and to extend his stay at the club till 2024. They take on Watford early today at about 12:30, and Burnley will be up against Newcastle. We see Chelsea taking on Bournemouth today, Leicester City taking on Norwich City, and later on today it will be Southampton taking on West Ham United. Now, on Sunday, we see Manchester United taking on Everton. Wolverhampton Wanderers will be fighting out against Tottenham Hotspur. Arsenal takes on Manchester City on Sunday, and on Monday, Crystal Palace will take on Brighton and Hove Albion. Away from the English Premier League, there are also matches in other leagues. Let's take a look at the leagues. De La Liga in Spain, Granada takes on Levante at 12 o'clock today. Real Sociedad takes on Barcelona 3 o'clock. And Atletico Madrid takes on Osasuna at 8 p.m. today in the Spanish La Liga. Tomorrow we see Villarreal taking on Valencia taking on Real Madrid at home. Villarreal travel to take on Sevilla tomorrow. Real Mallorca also travel to take on Celta Vigo, and Getafe fouls out against Real Valladolid in the Spanish La Liga. So we go straight to other matches in the Bundesliga, the Serie A. We see Brescia taking on Lecce at 2 o'clock. Napoli taking on Parma at 5 p.m. today. Genoa takes on Sampdoria at 7:45 on Sunday. Juventus will be in action against Udinese. Fiorentina takes on Inter Milan. AC Milan takes on Sassuolo. Roma takes on Spal. But on Monday, Cagliari will file out against Lazio. So we have fixtures coming in for you in the German Bundesliga. Let's take a look at that. Bayern Munich takes on Werder Bremen, and that will be at 2:30 today. Cologne up against the Bayer Leverkusen. Hertha Berlin takes on SC Freiburg. We see Fortuna Düsseldorf taking on RB Leipzig, and Union Berlin travel to take on SC Paderborn on Sunday. 2 matches will be played. Wolfsburg against Borussia Mönchengladbach, and Schalke 04 takes on Eintracht Frankfurt. So the French Ligue 1 is the last stop for us today when it comes to the top 5 leagues in Europe. Metz takes on Marseille, and we see Amiens taking on Dijon. Angers takes on AS Monaco. Toulouse will be up against Reims. All these games are kicking off at 7 p.m. today, but 4:30 is the first game, Metz against Marseille. And on Sunday, we see Bordeaux taking on Strasbourg. Lyon takes on Rennes at 4 p.m. and Saint-Etienne takes on Paris Saint-Germain at 8 p.m. on Sunday. So let's go straight to the match of the week. We have a game from the English Premier League. It's Arsenal taking on Manchester United. That promises to be a big one, but I'm not so sure. Arsenal just got a win after so many games without a commanding winning performance, and Manchester City, although topsy-turvy, they are back. They seem to be back in good form and trying to get back into winning ways. So it's Freddie Ljungberg up against Pep Guardiola. Let's see how that pans out. Ljungberg is an interim manager. Guardiola is a manager that has got all the experience you can talk about or you can even imagine. So let's take a look at some of the stats and the head-to-head statistics on these particular games, plus key players coming in. And you know, sometimes we pick 1 or 2 key players, but we have a lot of key players talking about this particular game. And there's, of course, the biggest player for Arsenal in this particular game has to be Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. All the Gunners fans know about that, and even in fact, Manchester City as a club know that the danger man to watch out for in this game has to be Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He's got 11 goals. He's scored 8 with his right foot and 3 with his left foot. So there's no stories about it. His foot will be dangerous for the defenders for Manchester City in this particular game. So they need to be careful about how they handle Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He's the go-to guy for Arsenal. He gets the goals every time they are out. Okay, now let's talk about Man City's key player for this particular game today. That man's name is Kevin De Bruyne. Now, he scored just 4 goals. He's not a striker. It's where he's done damage is when it comes to assists. He's got 9 assists so far this season, and he's created a lot of big chances for Manchester City. He's got 9 through balls in the season so far. That means that if the strikers are as clinical as they should be, he could do a lot of damage against an Arsenal team in this match today. And so those are the key players for this particular game. And talking about Arsenal against Manchester United, let's take a look at, let's wrap it up on this one. I don't know how this match will end, but I doubt that Arsenal will have the will or the strength or the backbone to stop Manchester City from picking up a result from this game today. I would like Freddie Ljungberg to surprise me today. But let's go straight to wrap up in boxing. Now, it's about 7 days on the dot since Anthony Joshua, of course, reclaimed his heavyweight bouts against heavyweight belt, against Andy Ruiz Jr. He picked up his IBF, WBO, and WBA belt from, of course, Andy Ruiz last week. Saturday in the evening. So a good one for him. He's back. He's now the second time unified heavyweight champion, and of course there's been a lot of talk about it. And you know how we love to watch the games where we win. You know, if the Super Eagles win a particular game, you want to watch that game over and over and over again. Well, we'll give you highlights of the win for AJ over Andy Ruiz, but right now also you need to know that Anthony Joshua, has to face a new challenger by 2020, early as possible as June 2020. So he has to face someone, and because he has to face someone, he probably will be looking at challenges from Kubrat Pulev or Alexander Usyk. Those are the challengers. Now, his promoter, that's Anthony Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, is looking at possibly Kubrat Pulev, because he is a mandatory challenger for the IBF. Although we hear a ruling will be decided which challenger AJ should face first. Is it IBF or the WBA's challenger? Now, that's a wrap right here on the sports segment of the weekend show. More coming your way. We'll leave you with the video, the highlights of the fight between Anthony Joshua and, of course, Andy Ruiz Jr. at the Clash of the Dunes in Saudi Arabia. Please, of course, coming up next is social media trends, more talk, more politics, and, of course, entertainment coming your way. Don't go anywhere.